you feel like everything is falling apart right now, like you messed up, like life's not working for you, I want to tell you something that nobody ever told me. You're not failing. You are being repositioned by the universe. There is something bigger than you can see happening right now. What feels like a delay, a loss, a collapse, might actually be what your soul has been trying to create for you to start moving forward, to start creating momentum. Because when things fall apart, it doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong. It's usually a sign that there's something more coming, and where you're at, what you have going on, it's just not a match. It's not an alignment for who you're becoming anymore, right? It's not contributing to your growth anymore. I'll share a personal story. When I used to be a trainer. This was my dream. This was my purpose of owning my own studio, having many studios. And I was living it. I remember thinking back one night, I was so happy. I'm living my dream. I'm making $5,000 a month. I was on top of the world. I put in work. I got my personal training diploma. I went to school. I drove an hour to the studio. And when I was going to class, I was driving like 30 minutes downtown. Sometimes it would equal up to an hour because of traffic. You put in the time. You put in the work. And it ended up falling apart. And that was one of the most devastating phases of my life. And I thought my dream was over. My life was over. I was ready to give up. And to be frank, I did give up. I didn't care. But little did I know this was happening for me. Because after the studio fell apart, that's what drew me to this work. But in the moment, it seemed like the universe was working against me. Like I failed, like I did something wrong. Maybe I should have done things differently, but it was perfect. It was perfect for my growth. It was perfect for my evolution. And again, it led me to this work. So where is it leading you? Is there a higher mission? Is there a higher purpose for you? When you feel exhausted, when you feel anxious about where you're at in life right now and everything just goes wrong, you hit rock bottom, so to speak, there's something more. Can you find it? Can you find the gift? Right? Leaving the studio, it took me to this purpose. It took me to this mission of being a coach, of being a speaker, but I wouldn't have been able to even get the confidence to have the belief that I could do this if I didn't go through all that stuff at the studio. I was there for 1.5 years, and I built up so much resilience, so much business knowledge, so much internal knowing that I can trust myself. Maybe everything you've gone through, you've gained quite a bit of lessons from it, quite a bit of growth from it. And maybe now you're ready. Maybe now you're ready for the real purpose, what you actually came here to do, because it all prepares you. Every single thing you go through in life. And I know it's hard to trust that in those moments where you feel devastated and you feel like you're walking in the dark and there's no light, there's nobody around you. You feel lost, you feel hopeless, helpless. I understand. I turn to liquor, right? Sometimes we turn to substances because it's too much pain. But I'm telling you, there's light at the end of the tunnel. There's something more coming. Trust your path. Trust the universe. It's guiding you somewhere. Your higher self, your intuition isn't just going to leave you there to suffer. It's not creating all of this for nothing. Can you believe that? Can you trust that? Right? I got my notes over here. Sometimes things fall apart, not because you failed, but because they no longer match who you're becoming. Right? Who do you want to be? When you take those traits of the new version of you that you want to embody, and you see how you're living, maybe you have lower standards, maybe you have no boundaries, maybe you have all these things that are being created from the lower self right now that you're being asked to look at, and it hurts and it's frustrating and it's painful, but that's the only way to become the next version of you. You got to see what you're no longer going to tolerate in your life. Maybe people, right? Maybe habits that you do daily that are destroying you, that are making you lose hope in yourself. Maybe you keep letting yourself down. Maybe you're always falling short in life because you can't commit to stuff. There's always something. But this version of you cannot be taken to the next level, right? You can love it, you can accept it for how it is right now, but who you're becoming needs your attention right now, right? What are the traits? What are the habits of the new higher self? That's what you got to start looking at. Because honestly, rock bottom is often divine redirection. Think back at every time you broke down, every time you hit rock bottom. Were you not being redirected? Were you not being repositioned when you look at it in retrospect? Think about it, right? I remember there was a point in time where I had to move from Chicago to Sedona, and I lost my whole foundation in Chicago. I was 27 at the time, and it wasn't a smart move when you looked at it on paper. But I just knew I had to move. And I went to this 4-day retreat, and it was at Sedona, Arizona, and all I had was my luggage, my car, and my dream. And I took the leap. I was being redirected. But if you were to share this with somebody, right, in that moment, like, they would think I'm nuts. They would think I'm crazy. They would say, Roy, you're going to leave your 5-year relationship in Chicago. You're going to leave all your friends in Chicago. I mean, I had one or two, but you're going to leave your family. And that was what hurt the most. My family, my parents in Chicago. You're going to leave everything you've built there to move to Sedona, Arizona, a completely new place that you've never lived in before. That was my first time even traveling on the road by myself in my car, right? My first road trip. It didn't make sense, but there's this knowing that you cannot deny. And sometimes it comes before, sometimes it comes during, sometimes it comes after. Your spirit knows when to kind of give you that knowing. But that's what happens. That's what happens. That's how you start to get pulled into the next chapter of your life. Right? But that divine redirection, right? Like, the universe will break what needs to break to align you with your next chapter every single time. For me, it was also a 5-year relationship. I had to end it. I knew it was no longer in alignment with who I wanted to become in my future and my next chapter, my next level of evolution. I had to go. As much as it hurt, as much as having that conversation broke me and destroyed me, I had to. Because then I'd just be lying to myself. And maybe there's a situation, it doesn't have to be a relationship, but maybe it's a situation where you got to stop lying to yourself and be brutally honest and face yourself and take responsibility for your life, because that's what's required to get to the next level. You want more success, you want more abundance, you want more self-belief, start taking more responsibility for your life. You cannot play victim. Take it from somebody who played victim for a long part of his life. It was always somebody else's fault. I got bad luck, right? Where can I point? Where can I blame? You don't have to shame yourself to stop being a victim, but just take responsibility for everything that you can in your life. There's some things that you can't change, right? And you can't go into the past and shaming yourself. It doesn't help. But what can you do now? What can you do now, right now, to start taking responsibility for your life and to start creating new habits? What do you need to do? Maybe you got to cut off that person. Maybe you got to go take that risk for that new opportunity. Maybe you got to create the opportunity. Maybe it's a new business. Maybe it's just learning right now, right? Equipping yourself with new knowledge, a new level of awareness to get to the next level of your spiritual awakening, the next level of your spiritual journey. There's something more that's being asked of you every single time to evolve for your spiritual growth. Do you answer? Do you shy away? Right? You see, the raw truth of what's going on right now, if you're feeling lost in life, you're feeling stuck, you're at rock bottom, it's like you're being repositioned, right? And being repositioned doesn't feel like clarity, it feels like a collapse. Let me repeat that. Being repositioned doesn't feel like clarity, it feels like a collapse, like a breakdown, like your world is ending. And that's just the ego. It's the ego telling you, no, hold on. Hold on to who you used to be. Who cares if it's loaded with self-doubt, with disbelief, with self-hatred? Who cares? Don't hold on to this. Think about it logically. Why would you want to hold on to this when there's gold over here? There's fresh, clean water over here. Your spirit's trying to show you what's over here. But you have to let go of the old you. That's the price. That's the price. And the more new actions you act on, the more new habits you create, right? That's in alignment with this new version of you. You're not going to feel lost anymore. Give yourself a purpose, right? I created my purpose of being a personal trainer. I connected all the dots. I went back. Actually, I took a course and I went back and I saw that I loved to work out. I loved helping people to work out, right? And showing them how to work out and nutrition and dieting and all this stuff. And it just made sense. Maybe there's something, if you can connect the dots and go back, what can you do for hours that keeps you in the flow, that you enjoy? What do you talk about with your friends? It just comes out so naturally, effortlessly, fluidly. That could be your new purpose. Maybe it is. What keeps reoccurring in your life that for year after year, it's always there. It's always there. If you're watching this, it might even be serving. Might even be doing this, creating content to help other people, or coaching, or speaking, or just sharing your gift. That could be the purpose. But connect the dots. What's the repetitive pattern in your life that the universe has been trying to show you, or your spirit has been trying to show you? You can do this. You can help people with this. It's always in front of you. It's always in front of you. And once you find that, you act on the first thing in front of you. That's how it works, right? Also, you're being pulled out of survival and into alignment. That's what's going on right now, right? Maybe you're exhausted, you're burnt out, you haven't been able to know what to do. You've been hit by life, so to speak, left and right. When I first went through this spiritual awakening journey, I lost all my friends. I was an alcoholic. I got a DUI. I got 2 sip discs at work from working at UPS. I had to pay $1,500 to get my car back. I had to pay $10,000 from my lawyer that I had to borrow from my parents. Life hit. Damn, did life hit. But if it wasn't for all that, and damn, did it hurt, I would have never got to the moment where I came home one night, drunk from partying. And I was doing that too every weekend. And I'm laying in my bed, just fed up, disgusted with myself, so angry with myself and where I was in life. I was 22. And while I was drunk, I asked myself, is this going to be the rest of my life? Partying, drinking, feeling like a failure, feeling like a loser, going nowhere in life, just being a sheep. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. I don't know why. But in that moment, I said no. The next day I decided, or actually no, that night I decided I was going to learn one new thing every day to better myself, to grow. And I stuck with it. That one decision led me to personal development. It led me to my first mentor The next morning, I went on YouTube. I'm like, let me just learn something. And this video titled "Why I Have No Friends" came on, and I'm like, well, it's perfect. I lost all my friends, and I clicked it, and wow, I was just like, I love this stuff. I love this material. I don't even know what I was reading. I didn't even know it was personal development at the time, but I fell in love with it. Little did I know, I was getting a snippet of my own future. Usually what you love, it's a snippet of your own future, of what's to come, of something that you can be doing. Remember that old phrase or old saying, what you see in others is what you see in yourself. I saw infinite potential in my first mentor. I saw greatness. I saw somebody that I wanted to be. I saw hope. I saw intelligence. I saw confidence. Everything that I didn't have at that time. And again, I wouldn't have gone into that video or even taken the time to watch that video if my life didn't feel so messed up. If I didn't feel so broken inside, if I didn't feel like I failed at life, if I failed myself. It took me to that raw moment where I was ready to listen. I was ready to change. I was ready to become more than who I was. This is what's happening. If you're watching this, it's not by chance, bro. You're watching this because you're becoming right now. You're awakening right now. You know you're meant for more. Why would you be here if you weren't? Why would we be in the same frequency? Why would we even be a match right now if you weren't trying to better yourself, to better your life, right? Your soul creates a void when it's time to rewrite your path every single time. And you don't need to understand everything. You just need to stay open. Can you be open? Can you have an open mind? Can you be willing to change? Can you soften your heart? This is what's necessary. Be teachable, right? How teachable are you? How much are you willing to change? What are you willing to let go of? And it's not a sacrifice, it's an investment for the new you. I had to put the freaking bottle down. Oh, God forbid, right? We can't put the bottle down. We can't put the substance down. Sometimes it's what you got to do. No, it's not. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying, like, are you going to do what's required? Are you going to do what you know you need to do? And your spirit, your intuition, it's telling you, right? Maybe you just got to cut back a little bit. Whatever it is, can you trust yourself enough to do whatever that thing is, right? And if you do that, you've accepted the invitation from your soul. You've accepted your own empowerment. You're taking responsibility for your life. You see, I wouldn't put the bottle down because I didn't want to take responsibility. I was comfortable. I'm living at my parents. I got my mommy and daddy there. I was 27. I needed to grow the hell up. I didn't have to pay for rent. I didn't have to pay for bills. Not my phone bill. My parents gave me my car. I got it handed to me. From being real. But damn, did that stifle my growth. And I didn't even know. You got the cards that you're given. Some people start with everything. Some people start with nothing. I was more in the middle. And that's why I knew I had to leave. I knew I was stunting my own growth. To go from comfortable being in a middle class family to going to Sedona with just my luggage, my car. I lost all my coaching clients at the time. I had to figure it out. I had to trust like never before. I was putting affirmations on every day, listening to positive audiobooks to keep me focused on the right stuff. I did what was required. I left my whole foundation. I left all my family. How much are you willing to change? How much are you willing to let go? I broke off a 5-year relationship. You get my drift? No, it wasn't easy. It broke me for a second. I was crying at 4 a.m. in the morning in my hotel room. And I after the 4-day retreat, because I attended a 4-day retreat, I spent I bought just enough money to get 3 days at a freaking hotel to buy me some time to figure out where I was gonna stay. And here's another thing. When you're feeling lost, when you're feeling stuck, the universe is gonna send support. It's gonna send guidance, whether it's through you or externally. I had this one of the clerks there, or one of the workers there at the hotel. No, I don't think it's a clerk. Or maybe. We had a conversation. I shared with him my situation. Hey, I came from Chicago. I just went to a 4-day retreat. Now I decided to stay here in Sedona. I'm trying to figure it out. And I woke up one morning. I woke up to work out, and I'm leaving the workout room. And he just comes by. And he's like, "Hey, I created a list for you with all the cheapest motels, some apartment spots." And he even put the prices right next to where they're at. He put the city of where they're at. It was at least a list of like 15 or 20. And I was just like, wow. I thanked him, and I was so grateful. And I also thanked the universe, because that was a gift. I mean, I've never been to Arizona. I've never been to Sedona. And look at this assistance. Look at this support. It's obvious, like, yo, like when something is meant for you, it's almost effortless, right? So again, I bought myself some time just staying in that hotel so I could figure it out. Sometimes you just need a little time, right? Just need a little time. But sometimes there's more pressure, sometimes there's less, right? So, but either way, you're coming into empowerment. This is an invitation from your soul to grow. This is why you feel stuck. This is why you feel lost, right? You're not broken, you're being redirected. You're not late, you're being aligned. Oftentimes we think we're late. What are you late for? This is your path, your time, right? Like, it's like telling a baby, hey, hurry up, grow. Why haven't, it's 1 day old, why haven't you learned how to speak? Why haven't you learned how to walk? It's your own judgments. It's your own self-criticism that was passed down from your parents, maybe cousins. What's the rush? And let me clarify that. I'm not saying to be lazy. I'm not saying to procrastinate. I'm not saying to just sit back and, just kick back. I'm saying, look, this is your time. This is your path. This is your journey. You're growing at your pace. You're not trying to become them. You're not trying to become Tony Robbins, right? You're trying to become you, your evolved version. There's work to be done. There's energy, there's time. But if you're giving that everything every day, what's left to give? But if you know you're slacking, you got to call yourself out. But if you're giving your best, and as you evolve and you grow and you heal, your best becomes better. And that's the goal as well, right? So if you're here, you're not here by accident. Your soul knows it's time to rise. What's the purpose? What's that thing you've been avoiding, been pushing off? You're just afraid to do it. You're afraid to fail. That's the other thing. Stop being afraid to fail. It's illusory. It doesn't exist. You're just stopping yourself for nothing. When you really, really break it down, what's going to happen after you fail? I went down 3 wrong ways in 1 day. Remember Bob Proctor would say, I can share with you stuff that'll mess up your whole week. How many times he's failed or how many mistakes he's made. Like, it's okay. It's the process. It's funny when you think back at it. Like, you're going to get there. I don't care if it's 10 steps back, 2 steps forward. I mean, hopefully it's not, right? But as you grow, you learn, you redirect, you know when to course correct. It's going to get to a point where, like, I remember my old mentor would tell me, the bubble just burst, right? It just burst. And I had another mentor, he would say, it's like you're pushing a rock, a heavy boulder up a hill, and you're pushing it. Year 1, year 2, year 3, and it's heavy. You're tired, you're exhausted. You don't know if you can keep going. But you're pushing it up a mountain. You know you're going to get to the top eventually. Can you keep your hands up? Can you keep the faith? Can you hold and push? Because one day, you're going to get to the top of that mountain. You're going to to give a final freaking push to that boulder. And it's going to come rolling down the hill. And you're going to have so much momentum. And you're going to blast off. Because everything counts. All the content you're consuming, all the work you're doing on yourself, all the things you're learning, maybe about business, maybe about the algorithms, whatever it is, it all counts and it's all building up. You're pushing until one day again, you get to the top of the hill, you get over the hill, and that boulder comes rushing down. And you did it. You created momentum. You're living your dream. That's how it works. But you cannot put a time limit on it, and you cannot count the cost. When you say, that's what I used to do. Oh, it's already been 3 years. It's been 5 years. It's been 10 years and I haven't made it. It must not be meant for me. No. Don't count the time. Don't count the cost. It'll happen when it happens. But if you quit, if you sign yourself off, it for sure won't happen. Your chance is done. But if you say, I'm going to keep going, I'm going to keep doing the things, I'm going to keep showing up, it's just a matter of time. It's not if, it's when. Don't sign yourself off from your dream. If you're watching this, you got it in you. There's a part of you that still believes. There's a part of you that's willing to go and take the risk and not be afraid to fail. Listen to that part. Because that part has your back. The other voice that's trying to keep you small, that's trying to keep you limited, that's saying don't take the risk, don't jump. That's how you die with regret. That's how you never become more than what you are right now. You don't listen to that voice. You can be compassionate, you can be empathetic, but you don't want that voice leading you. It won't take you to your full potential. No. We're going to finish up there today, guys. Thank you for being here. Drop a comment if this helped you. Let me know what was your biggest realization. What was an epiphany that you had? I would love to hear a comment. I reply to every comment. Like, subscribe. If you have not checked out my course, Courage Unleashed, go ahead and check it out. It's in the description. If you're ready to face yourself, to challenge who you used to be, to grow, to get to the next level, the next chapter of your life, to live from the heart, to lead with courage, go ahead and check it out. The link is in the description. It's going to equip you and give you everything you need to become the most powerful version of you. If you know it's time, if you know you're ready, and I promise you, nothing will come up in that course where you're doing the healing work, the inner work, that you cannot handle. Everything that comes up is because you're ready for it. It's because you can change it. You can confront it. I promise you. All right. If you have any questions, reach out via Instagram. I'm going to leave my Instagram as well in the description. That's the best way to reach me. Much love. I believe in you. And remember, you're not lost in life. You're not stuck in life. This rock bottom phase of your life isn't for nothing. You're going through it because you're being repositioned.